Hello again, class. In this example, we are going to address how to calculate a covariance, coefficient, and construct a scatter plot in Excel. So we got three quick little activities here, and you'll find out how easy they are to perform in just a matter of clicks. I do caution you, there is a small bit of data formatting that you need to do. Nothing major. Now, for this problem, there's only one really important piece of information you need to pay attention to here, and it's in this part C, where it's asking for constructing a scatter plot between sales and hours of training with sales on the y-axis. As you know, a correlation consists of an x variable and a y variable. Now remember, causation is not implied with a correlation. It's just simply a relationship. However, typically an x variable is an independent variable and a y variable is a dependent variable, and we'll address that when we do multiple regression. However, we're not talking about causation here, but the concept of an x and y variable is still important for a correlation and covariance. So in our data set here, we're interested in the sales column and the training hours. Now, one thing that you need to be aware of is Excel likes to read the columns of the data in a particular order for a correlation and scatter plot. It likes to see the x variable first and the y variable. Now you could select these separately, but it's really easy to do. It's just simply copy and paste our variables. And training hours was going to be our x, and this is a little tip I'm giving you here just to keep things straight in your head. So training hours is our x variable, and y is going to be our, sales is going to be our y variable. And why is that important? Because the question is asking, make this scatter plot, but make sure sales is on the y-axis. Your y-axis is your vertical axis, okay? I mentioned earlier, Excel likes to read the order of these variables in terms of x's and y's. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our covariance, correlation, and scatter plot real quick here. So we're just going to select our two columns of data. We're going to go to our handy dandy data analysis tool pack. Now there is syntax. You can use the Corel for correlation syntax and the Covar for covariance syntax, but this you can just do just by clicking. We're going to select correlation. Let's do covariance first. We'll do covariance, click OK. Oh, it wants me to reselect the data, which I will do. And notice I grabbed the labels. So labels are in the first row. I'm going to put this in a new worksheet. Click OK. There is our covariance. Right here. Minus 57,726. Now we simply just need to repeat this for our correlation. So go back to the data analysis toolpack, select correlation, select OK. Everything's already selected. We don't need to do anything. Click OK. There is our correlation, which is negative 0.018767, which is roughly negative 0.02. If you want to round it, that is fine. Okay, that's our covariance and correlation. All that is left is what? Our scatter plot. Watch how easy this is. We're simply going to go to Insert, Scatter. We can click on the first one. There's our scatter plot. Now the only thing left to do here is just label and clean this up. And then I would probably drop this into a new worksheet as well. We want to delete that. We don't need that. Here's our title, which is simply going to be a correlation between sales and training hours. Now remember, this is our y-axis, this is our x-axis. Here's one little tip for how I remember this. Y is the vertical axis. So if you can remember making a y, so here's the vertical line for our y, and imagine drawing two little extra lines here. That's our y-axis. And that, you recall, is sales, because I had you put in the x and y here so you can remember. And this is specifically y. So you can change this stuff under layout, under axis title. The vertical axis was sales. We can use a horizontal title. And you just write the word sales in there. And you want to denote that it was in dollars. That's fine. And we need to add in the other title for the horizontal. It's our x-axis. This was training hours, which you can just put in hours. And that's it. That's your scatter plot. Now, looking at this scatter plot, you should be able to tell some things about your correlation. Namely, it's not a good one. And to back that up, you have your analysis. It says it's a negative 0.018. What does that mean? Well, there are two important things you need to know about the correlation in terms of interpreting them. And here they are. Strength and direction. Strength is simply referring to that number on a 0 to 1 scale. The closer that number is to 1 means it's a stronger correlation. The closer it is to 0, it's a weaker correlation. A lot of times you're going to find correlations in the 0.3 to 0.6 range. In the research world, we tend to classify them as moderate correlations. Now, direction. That's simply whether or not that value is positive or negative. If it's a positive number, that means both variables have values that increase. As one increases, so does the other variable. But a negative correlation, or what's also called an inverse correlation, means either one variable increases and the other decreases, or one decreases and the other increases. That's it. And that's very important for you to know and to write up in any time you are performing a correlation. And that's it. That is a covariance, correlation, and a scatter plot. You also notice I didn't really talk about the covariance. I showed you how to do it. I'm just telling you straight up right now, it's a number that you really don't ever want to pay attention to all that often. Some statisticians like it. I personally don't find enough value in it. It's not that commonplace. So you know how to do it, great. But in real life, you'll tend to focus more on correlations. That is it. Off to the next video lesson.